Good Friday morning to you guys all. Welcome back to Kibble Kids Cozy Corner. And I want to jump right in because we kind of had a little cliffhanger Thursday there. So let's do our pledge and let's do our motto and then we will get started with James and the Giant Peach. Okay, you see the flag over there? Salute and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's jump over here to our motto. There we go. And here we go. We are students at Peter J. Shields. We believe in kindness. We are responsible. We are persistent. We are respectful. We are bucket fillers. We drop acts of kindness into everything we do. We are Peter J. Shields. And so our normal spring break would be starting to wind down. We would just have today and Monday off, but since we're not normal, and as of this taping, I don't know for sure when we're coming back. Maybe May 4th, but maybe not until August. I don't know. So we're just going to continue to be persistent and make the best of it. And let's jump into James and the Giant Peach, my friends. Here we go, chapter 26. Remember, Centipede was singing a song, and all of a sudden, James, look out, Centipede, look out. So chapter 26. The centipede, who had begun dancing wildly around the deck during this song, had suddenly gone too close to the downward curving edge of the peach. For 3 awful seconds, he had stood teetering on the brink, swinging his legs frantically in circles in an effort to stop himself from falling over backward into space. But before anyone could really reach him, down he went. He gave a shriek of terror as he fell, and the others, rushing to the side, peering over, saw this poor long body tumbling over and over through the air, getting smaller and smaller until it was out of sight. Silkworm! James yelled. Quick, start spinning! The silkworm sighed, for she was still very tired from spinning all that silk for the seagulls. But she did as she was told. I'm going down after him, cried James, grabbing the silk string as it started coming out of the silkworm and trying to tie the end around its waist. The rest of you, hold on to Silkworm so I don't pull her over with me. And later on, if you film 3 tugs on the string, 1, 2, 3, start hauling me up again. He jumped and went tumbling down in the air after Centipede, down, down, down towards the sea. You can imagine how quickly the silkworm had to spin to keep up with the speed of his fall. Oh, we'll never see any of them again, cried the ladybug. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, just when we were all so happy too. Miss Spider and Glowworm and the ladybug all began to cry, and so did the earthworm. I don't care a bit about the centipede, the earthworm sobbed. But I really love that little boy. Very softly, the old green grasshopper started to play the funeral march on his violin, and by the time he had finished, everyone, including himself, was in a flood of tears. Suddenly there came 3 sharp tugs. Pull! Shouted the old green grasshopper. Everyone get behind me and pull! There was about a mile of string to be hauled in, but they all worked like mad, and in the end, over the side of the peach, there appeared a dripping wet James with a dripping wet centipede, clinging to him tightly with all 42 of his legs. Could you imagine all 42 legs being wrapped around you? He saved me, gasped the centipede. He swam around the middle of the Atlantic Ocean until he found me. Oh, my dear boy, the green grasshopper said, patting James on the back. I do congratulate you. My boots, cried the centipede. Just look at my precious boots. They are ruined by the water. Be quiet, the earthworm said. You are lucky to be alive. Are we still going up and up, asked James. We certainly are, answered the old green grasshopper. And it's beginning to get dark. I know it'll be night soon. Why don't we all go down and keep warm until tomorrow morning, Miss Spider suggested. No, the green grasshopper said. I think that would be very unwise. It would be safer if we all stay up here through the night and keep watch. Then if anything happens, we shall be ready for it. Chapter 27. James Henry Trotter and his companions crouched close together on the top of the peach as the night began closing around them. Clouds like mountains towered high above their heads on all sides, mysterious, menacing, overwhelming. Gradually it grew darker and darker, and then a pale, Three-quarter moon came up over the tops of the clouds and cast an eerie light over the whole scene. The giant peach swayed gently from one side to side as it floated along, and hundreds of silky white strings going upward from its stem were beautiful in the moonlight. So also was the great flock of seagulls overhead. There was not a sound anywhere traveling upon the peach, and there was not, upon the peach was not the least like traveling in an airplane. An airplane comes clattering and roaring through the sky, and whatever it might be lurking secretly up there in the great cloud mountains goes running for cover at its approach. That is why people travel in airplanes and never see anything. But the peach, yes, the peach was a soft, stealthy traveler, making no noise at all as it floated along. And several times during that long, silent night ride, high up over the middle of the ocean in the moonlight, James and his friends saw things that no one had ever seen before. Once they drifted silently past a massive white cloud, and they saw the top of a group of strange, tall, wispy things that look about twice the height of ordinary men. They were not easy to see at first, because they were almost as wide as the cloud itself. But as the peach sailed closer, it became obvious that these things were actually living creatures. Tall, wispy, shadowy, white creatures who looked as though they were made out of a mixture of cotton wool and candy floss and thin white hairs. Ooh, the ladybug said. I don't like this at all. Shh, James whispered back. Don't let them hear you. These must be cloud men. Cloud men? They murmured. Oh dear, as they huddled closer and closer together. I'm glad I'm blind and can't see them, said the earthworm, or I'd probably scream. I hope they don't turn around and see us, Miss Spider stammered. Do you think they would eat us? The earthworm asked. Well, they'd eat you, the centipede answered, grinning. They'd cut you up like salami and eat you in thin slices. The poor earthworm began to quiver all over with fright. But what are they doing? Asked the old green grasshopper. I don't know, whispered James softly. Let's watch and see. The cloud men were standing all in a group, and they were doing something peculiar with their hands. First, they would reach out, all of them at once, and grab handfuls of cloud. Then they would roll these handfuls of cloud into their fingers until they turned to what looked like large white marbles. And then they would toss the marbles to one side and go and grab more bits of clouds and start all over again. It was all very silent and mysterious. The pile of marbles beside them kept growing larger and larger. Soon, there was a truckload of them there at least. They must be absolutely mad, the centipede said. There's nothing to be afraid of here. Shh, be quiet, you pest, whispered the earthworm. We shall all be eaten if they see us. But the cloudmen were much too busy with what they were doing to have noticed the great peach floating silently behind them. Then the watchers of the peach saw one of the cloudmen raising his long, wispy arms above his head, and they heard him shouting, All right, boys, that's enough. Get the shovels. And the other cloudmen immediately let out a strange, high-pitched whoop of joy and started jumping up and down and waving their arms in the air. They picked up the enormous shovels and rushed over to the pile of marbles and began shoveling them as fast as they could over the side of the cloud into space. Down they go, they chanted. Down they go, hail and snow, freezes and sneezes and noses will blow. It's hailstones, whispered James excitedly. They've been making hailstones, and now they're showering them down upon the people in the world below. Hailstones, the centipede said. That's ridiculous. This is summertime. You don't have hailstones in summertime. They are practicing for winter, James had told them. I don't believe it, the centipede shouted, raising his voice. Shh. The others whispered, and James said softly, For heaven's sake, centipede, don't make so much noise. The centipede roared with laughter. Those imbeciles couldn't hear anything, he cried. They're as deaf as doorknobs, you watch. And before anyone could stop him, he had cupped his front feet to his mouth and was yelling at the cloudmen as loud as he could. Idiots, he yelled. Nincompoops, halfwits, blunderheads. Oh, what on earth do you think you're doing over there? The effect was immediate. The cloudmen looked around as if they had been turned around like they had been stung by wasps when they saw the great golden peach floating past them, not 50 yards away in the sky. They gave a yelp of surprise, dropped their shovels to the ground, and there they stood in the moonlight, streaming down all over them, absolutely motionless. like a group of tall, white, hairy statues staring and staring at the gigantic fruit as it went by. The passengers on the Peach, all except Centipede, sat frozen with terror, looking back the Cloudman and wondering what was going to happen next. "Oh, now you've done it, you loathsome pest," whispered the Earthworm to the Centipede. "I'm not frightened of them," shouted Centipede. And to show everybody once again he wasn't, he stood up at his full height and started dancing about and making insulting signs at the Cloudman with all 42 legs. This evidently infuriated the Cloudmen beyond belief, and all at once they spun around and grabbed great handfuls of hailstones and rushed to the edge of the cloud and started throwing them at the Peach, shrieking with fury every time. "Look out!" cried James. "Quick, lie down, lie flat on the deck." And it was lucky they did. The large hailstones can hurt you as much as a rock or a lump of lead if it's thrown hard enough, and oh my goodness, how those Cloudmen can throw. The hailstones came whizzing through the air like bullets from a machine gun, and James could hear them smashing against the sides of the Peach and burying themselves in the peach flesh with horrible squelching noises. Plop, 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 ping, 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 as they bounced off poor Ladybug's shell because she couldn't lie as flat as the others, and then crack as one of them hit the Centipede right on the nose. Crack as another one hit him somewhere else. "Ow!" he cried. "Ow! Ow! Stop! Stop! Stop!" But the Cloudmen had no intention of stopping. James could see them rushing about in the cloud like a lot of huge hairy ghosts, picking up hailstones from the pile, dashing to the edge of the cloud, hurling the hailstones at the Peach, dashing back for more. And then, when the pile of stones was all gone, they simply grabbed handfuls of cloud and made as many as they wanted, and much bigger ones. Now some of them as large as cannonballs. "Quickly," cried James, "down the tunnel, or we'll all be wiped out." And there was a rush for the tunnel entrance, and half a minute later, everyone was safely downstairs inside the Stone of the Peach, trembling with fright and listening to the noise of the hailstones as they came crashing against the side of the Peach. "I'm a wreck," groaned the Centipede. "I'm wounded all over." "Serves you right," said the Earthworm. "Would somebody kindly look to see if my shell is cracked?" the Ladybug said. "Give us some light," shouted the old green grasshopper. "I can't," wailed the glowworm. "They've broken my bulb." "Then put another one in," said the Centipede. "Be quiet a moment," said James. "Listen. I believe they're not hitting us anymore." They all stopped talking and listened. Yes, the noise had ceased. The hailstones were no longer smashing against the Peach. "We've left them behind. The seagulls must have pulled us out of danger. Hooray! Let's go up and see." Cautiously, with James going first, of course, they all climbed back up the tunnel. James poked his head out, looked around. "It's all clear," he called. "I can't see them anywhere." And that is where we'll leave off today. That's the end of chapter 27. Holy cow, chapter 27. Look at that. We're probably 3/4 of the way through the book. Definitely. So it is Spring Break Friday. We have Spring Break Monday, and then back to our distance learning. And I just want to remind you, going into the weekend, to have a great weekend. If you celebrate Easter, happy Easter, and be safe. I know it's hard to not be able to go out and do some of the activities we usually do. I know for me, I'm just trying to do whatever I can and find little projects around the house or whatever. So be safe, kiddos. And as always, remember that we love and care about you so much, and we can't wait to see you again because we miss you tremendously. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Take care, and bye.